Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast that doesn't have a name yet, but I want to vent. So, here we are. Welcome to my personal space where I sit and I talk about things that matter. But today, I want to vent. I've got quite a few problems with men, and on today's podcast, I'm going to talk generally. So if you feel like I'm generalizing, please forgive me. I do not mean all men, but honestly, I'm not going to be able to say some men all the time. So when I say men, just know that I don't mean all men. So if it doesn't apply, just let it fly. So today I had quite a heated conversation with a man. It was like actually an argument with a man who's previously in the past has asked me out, and I said no. And they asked me, they wanted to be in a relationship. I said no. They said if we could go out and just chill and get to know each other. I said no, because I was sure on my decision of not wanting to get to know them. And honestly, I felt like it's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time and it's the waste of your time. I've had a lot of times where women say, well, if they really want to take you out, then just take it as an excuse to eat. I can eat at home. Thank you very much. So today, out of nowhere, this guy comes out and says, well then, if he didn't exactly put it like this, but that's exactly what he said. Well then, if you don't want to date me or want to be in a relationship with me, how about? And I said no. And then he went on about why wouldn't I want to be in a relationship or fuck someone? Is there something wrong? Do I have an issue with men? And all those sort of things. And I got so pissed off, like, just because I don't want you doesn't mean I have a problem with men. Even if I didn't want to be in a relationship with you or anybody else at the moment, I don't need to explain myself to that. So it really went on a back and forth, which was really below me, but I was so annoyed and I just felt like he needed to hear what I wanted to say, that grown men shouldn't be asking women such stupid things. And no is a no is a no. I don't need to explain myself why I'm saying no to you or any other man. Also, just because a woman is single doesn't mean she's going to jump at any chance of a relationship. I still need to assess situations, look if I like people and things like that. I'm not just going to date anyone just for the sake of not being single. Anyway, this brought up a lot of other emotions that have to do with men. So I guess he was right about that part. Um, I don't know how to explain this, but and it's something I've been thinking about for quite a few weeks, because something also happened a few weeks ago. Whereas there was a man that I helped a while ago, about something that I don't care to talk about here because it was private. I did help them out of the kindness of my heart. It was private. I don't need to publish it here. So now he said thank you. And the thank you was quite enough. It was really enough. And after some time, he was really nice to me. And I understood, you know what? I did something to help him. He feels gratitude. And that was fine. And I kind of felt bad actually, because I was like, you know what? I feel like it's something he could have done. Anybody could have done. And for him to be so overly grateful, it really isn't necessary. But it's not for me to stop someone from expressing gratitude, especially because he was just saying thank you and being nice to me. There wasn't anything over the top until the one time he tried to make moves on me. And I was like, is there a way a man can translate or interpret kindness and niceness and, I don't know, friendliness without thinking that it should be romantic or sexual? Why is it that so many times when you are kind or nice to a man, they translate it to being sexual or flirting? And I've also had in the past genuine friendships with men where I really cared about them and I felt like they cared about me. And I feel like in the long run, how they quote unquote fell in love with me. I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like sometimes I don't think they were really in love with me, but for them or in their minds, loving or caring about a woman didn't make sense if it wasn't sexual or romantic. And as a boy mom, I don't have solutions, but I feel like, isn't there a way that we can maybe love our boys in a way that they understand that not every love has to be romantic? You can genuinely care about a person of the opposite sex or whatever gender you are attracted to without necessarily not wanting to be with that person. Like you can be genuine friends without having to want to sleep with that person. And I feel like this is where my problem with having male friends is, that I can genuinely say from my side, maybe if they were given a chance, they'd speak for themselves that no, Sia, you were being flirtatious or whatever. But from my side, I can genuinely say that I've always been friendly, kind if I needed to be, and open. I'd crack some stupid jokes and we talk about general things. We talk about deep stuff. If you've seen my YouTube channel and you'll know that and you know me personally, you know I like to talk about deep stuff. And somehow all of those things, the kindness, the friendliness, the conversations, why does it have to end up in a romantic way? Why can't you have those conversations and be like that with a person and just be friends? Honestly, like I said, I'm here to vent. I do not have any solutions. I don't think there's a root cause. I think there's a root cause, but I don't necessarily think that I'm correct. I'm assuming that maybe because a lot of boys are raised into believing that besides their family members, the only thing they can get from women is only sexual or romantic. And it stems from a lot of things, that when you hug your boy child too much or you kiss them too much, people tell you that don't do that, it's gonna make him gay. And I don't understand how loving and hugging and kissing on your little boy as young as 4 year old, it's gonna make them gay. I don't understand that. And having grown men also telling young boys, don't be scared of that girl, don't be scared. Are you scared of her because you like her? And that time maybe the boy is so young that they don't even understand what it means to like a girl. And you are instilling things in them that tells them you cannot like a girl just nje. You can't just like a girl for no reason or just because you think she's cool or a great person. It has to be more than that. And I think this is where I've always been hesitant to be friends with males, because a lot of times, I can tell you now, there's only been a few number of male friends that didn't end up wanting to sleep with me. And I honestly, and I'm not saying this because I want to act like I'm such a cool person or whatever. I've always just been a friend. That's all. I don't talk sexual things with my male friends. I don't flirt with them. All of those things that people would say that they are enticing them. I'm literally just here breathing and talking nonsense and just being myself. And these things happen. And I'm not saying they happen to other women because they have their cleavage out or they're wearing short stuff or they talk a certain way. But I'm saying that I have not done anything that would suggest sexual attraction towards them. But all of the time, this is the thing that I get. And it's really frustrating. And it kills that hope that you want to have in men. As a single woman, I honestly, genuinely want to find love and a partner. And if this is what I'm saying, and now coupled with my own dating experience, it makes it really difficult because a lot of times women are told that you don't have faith in men because of the type of men that you date. But this specifically comes from the men that I did not date. So what do we do about then? Because a lot of times we are blamed about the lack of trust and the problems that we have in men. They are blamed on our dating history, saying that you should have chose better. Like even with friends that you've known for years, and they've always been friends with you, and you've been friends with them. Really, guys, I'd love to hear an insight from men. Actually, I'd really love to hear an insight from men where we can have an honest conversation that we don't necessarily argue, and maybe I can have a better insight, and maybe I can be less judgmental, because right now I feel like I'm frustrated, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed, I'm a lot of things, and it really makes me like question even like what kind of man am I attracting? What kind of like the man am I gonna fall in love with is I honestly, like, I'm even lost for words and my English just ran away. I honestly don't know how to articulate this, but the most thing I can say that I'm very frustrated, and this is something that I've been thinking about for weeks, and today it was triggered. I know people on social media, like, when you're upset about something and like, oh yeah, you're triggered. Yes, today I was triggered, and I hated that it proved my point. It really proved my point that sometimes I feel like men don't really see us as people. They just see us as commodities that can acquire for sexual or reproductive needs of theirs. And honestly, I feel like this conversation that I had with this man, I do, however, feel like he's very childish, and I did stoop down to his level. But there are also very older men, much older than him, that think the same way. So I don't think it's something that I would particularly attach to immaturity, but with men in general. So this is why I'd love to hear an insight from men. And I'd also like to say, this is not let's bash men are so bad, but I feel like it's cultural norms, societal norms, things that the way that a lot of these men were raised maybe may have led them to believe that you cannot have a friendship with women, and if they do, it does not make sense in deep in their subconscious. And again, this is not to bash men or hate men. I love men. I'm a boy mom. Men are boys before they are men, and how we raise them as little boys is how they might become the man in the future. So I honestly do not have hate for men. I love men, and but I think more than anything, this is coming from a place of hurt. So yes, guys, like I said, this was a venting podcast. So yeah, I don't know, I've never done a podcast before, so I don't even know how to close it, but this is the end. Thank you for listening. Bye.